Yuba-Sutter.LIVE's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at PlumasLakeSelfStorage.com.
In the heart of Yuba County's wine country lies a quiet estate, surrounded by tall pines, a lake with waterfowl and fish, and room to party, eat hearty, engage in nuptials.
I do.
Sit quietly by the fire pit and sample Yuba Foothills Vintner's finest. Frenchtown Inn, just 38 minutes from Marysville, a world away from cares.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
I'd like to call this special meeting study session to order. This is Sutter County Board of Supervisors, and we have a procedure for public comment. Members of the public will be allowed to address the board within the respective items listed on the agenda only. The law requires that the business not appearing on the agenda may not be discussed at a special meeting. If you wish to speak on any item appearing on the agenda, please fill out a speaker card, give it to the clerks over there, and noting the number and the agenda item about which you wish to speak, and present it to the board clerk. Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor Flores.
Present.
Supervisor Ziegemeyer. Here. Supervisor Baines.
Present.
Supervisor Conant.
Present. Okay. Lisa DeLeby will present the item.
Presentation to inform the board and community on community choice aggregation and pioneer community events.
Is this on? Okay, great.
Thank you. Thanks for having us today. And I also want to welcome the Live Oak, City of Live Oak folks as well, and the mayor with the boss next to her. So thanks for having us, and I just want to have introductions of our staff. So we're very happy to have with us today Alice Dowling-Calvillo, who's a council member with Auburn, is also our board chair on our Pioneer board. I'm Don Eckert, the Chief Executive Officer. Sam Kang, if you want to raise your hand, he's our Chief Operating Officer. Gina Stasi-Vanacore is our Director of Marketing. And then you mentioned Lisa is going to handle the slides and keep us on point. So we're very happy to be here, and I just want to kind of give a CCA 101 start here, and then we'll kind of get into some specifics about Pioneer. And so we'll kind of, each member of the team will have a few slides to cover. But I'll start us off with what is a CCA. So it really started out of the energy crisis in the year 2000. Some of you may remember that. And that was a nightmare for the state. And from there, we ended up with, you would think competition would have ended at that point, but it actually kept going. And the thought was, instead of having a complete open market, that we would look at a CCA so that a community could purchase electricity for its citizens. And it gives you a little bit of freedom from an independent or from an investor-owned utility. And so that's really how it started, was through Assembly Bill 117. And then from there, about 2002, there was about 8 years before the first CCA launched, which was in Marin County. And it received fierce competition from PG&E at the time. But they survived, they thrived. And then there was really a revolution of CCAs in the mid-2010s. And now, right now, we have 24 CCAs in the state. With, I think, 65% of PG&E's territory is now served by a CCA. So if you're considering this, you're not first at the table. A lot of the kinks have been worked out. So just want to give you a little history there on that. And then next slide, please. So how does a CCA work? So we provide the electrons on the system. You're still going to have dependence on PG&E for the transmission and the distribution side of the business. But I would look at it this way. This is not a perfect solution to say you want to take over your own utility, but at least it gets you in the game and it gives you some choice. And just to kind of put some dollars behind this, this is public record, so I'm not sharing something that's confidential, but City of Rockland, for instance, looked at having their own system and purchasing it. They looked at a consultant to do that for them. PG&E didn't give them this number. And this is about 3-4 years ago, and it was about $400 million to purchase a system. On top of that, you have to build the infrastructure to then maintain the system. You can get into this side of the business, the generation side of the business, provide choice for your citizens, and control a third of the bill for $15,000 to the general fund. And we'll cover that at the end of the presentation as well. But there will be an impact assessment study, which is really the total cost for the county on this. The beauty of joining a JPA is that you have that firewall between, so that the risk is with the JPA and the county's general fund is safe. Next slide, please. So benefits to your citizens, and I won't cover every bubble on here, but we look at for our board, stable and competitive rates are #1 priority. So we want to provide your citizens a lower utility bill. We formed in 2017. We launched service in 2018, and by the end of 2024, we'll have saved our customers about $126 million in ratepayer savings. Those are dollars that are staying in our territory, not going to Oakland. Used to be San Francisco. They've moved to Oakland. And I think that's pretty significant for considering the investment at risk. Also, you have local control. So we'll cover governance in a moment, but you have a say on the generation side of the business. You take control of your energy future, and you give your citizens a choice. And I want to emphasize that this is community choice aggregation, meaning that if your folks do not want to leave PG&E for whatever reason, for the generation side only, they can stay with PG&E. It's about choice. And so we're not replacing PG&E. We're giving your folks a choice. Next slide, please. Just want to cover our mission and our vision. We do have a strategic plan, and we're actually updating it this spring. What we do, mission statement is, we are locally owned. We are owned. So our shareholders are your citizens, powering the communities we serve with competitive rates, reliable service, and a choice in energy options. And we do believe we fulfill that mission. Our vision statement is where we want to be. We want to be a community partner, and we want to have a positive local impact. And Gina will cover that part of it is with exciting programs that we're launching in our territory that helps our citizens. Next slide, please. Our service territory, I think, so we're in Placer County, El Dorado County, and Nevada City, Grass Valley right now. Just significance here would be, for instance, in Placer County, we have Roseville Electric. A little sliver of territory is also SMUD. And then Liberty Energy is around the western part or the eastern part of the counties. But just a point here is that the legislation was set up to not compete with other public-owned utilities. So when we go into a territory, we're not going to compete with Truckee or replace Roseville Electric. It simply would be going after the investor-owned utilities territory, in this case, PG&E. Next slide. And then governance. So we have in our JPA, we have one member, one vote. So you decide who sits on the board, but it would be, right now we have a board of 11 elected officials representing every member agency that we serve. And it doesn't matter the size of your electrical load. And I don't know offhand what Sutter's would be right now. We'd have to do that study. But it's an equal vote for all. We look to recruit with like-minded folks. So I'm not looking to introduce a lot of conflict to the board. We're looking at this area of the state where I feel the CCA revolution has kind of missed it. If you look at the map that we had earlier, you'll see that the CCAs are up and down the coast, but this part of the state has kind of been left out of it. And I really am proud of our board chair and our board and staff to being open to expansion so that we can introduce this choice to you as well. And then as far as joining our board, even if service doesn't start till 2026, as soon as the CPUC would approve the membership, which I would say is going to be around end of next March, if we move forward along the schedule, and Gina will cover that shortly, you could join our board as soon as next spring to be well versed in issues before you actually start service. But again, that's our governance. It's elected officials. It's you. And I think with this area, next slide, please. I'm going to hand this over to Sam Kong, who will cover biomass and what we do in advocacy as well.
Good afternoon, everybody. So thanks, Don. I think, I just wanted to say I'm really pleased to be here to have this discussion. I've been a consultant since 2017 and launched about a dozen CCAs, and I can say mainly they're coastal CCAs. Pioneer's probably, it is the first one that's more of an inland one. So to bring the benefits to the inland people, I think it's a great time and it's a great moment. So having said that, one of the key things for Pioneer is that we, in addition to keeping costs low, biomass is one of the top priorities for our board, right? And one of the things we also do is we have a active legislative and regulatory area where we actually participate with the legislators and the regulators in San Francisco, this California Public Utilities Commission, and also, of course, the state. A great example of that is on the legislation. As I said, we're very interested in biomass. So one of the issues with biomass, it's more expensive than typical energy. So to help bridge that gap, I actually sponsored work with Aguirre Curry's office and another CCA to sponsor and get AB 843 passed. That was done unanimously on a bipartisan basis. What that did, it allowed CCAs to participate in a biomat program. It's a biomass program that previously only the investor-owned utilities had access to. So that was a great achievement. Right now, we're in the final stages of implementing that, and I think by May, we will be actively participating in that program. That's just one example of our words in action. We, the board, through Alice, we had a great passed something called the feed-in tariff. So this is using our own Pioneer funds to help accelerate investment in biomass and in small hydro projects by creating